Hello, and a very warm welcome to my masterclass on a healthy transformation through Ayurvedic nutrition. Now, the likelihood is that you're here because either you want to learn more about Ayurveda or you're also interested in knowing how Ayurveda nutrition can transform your health to help you reach your health and wellness goals. So let's just go ahead and get started. Now, I want to start by introducing myself. Many of you probably do not know who I am. So my name is Varsha Khatri, and I am the founder of Illuminated Health. I am a qualified nutritionist, a senior yoga teacher, an Ayurveda consultant, a health educator, and a wellness coach. Now, I have been in the field for well over a decade, so I have plenty of working experience, and I've been working with clients one-to-one in group settings. So I do group coaching programs both online and in person. I do teach yoga classes. I'm a writer. I love to share my passion for health and well-being, and I love to simplify healthy living. I have a very holistic approach to how I work with my nutrition clients especially. So I am the author of Think Healthy, Choose Healthy. It is a book I wrote earlier this year that was published, and it's a book about how to make healthier dietary and lifestyle approaches through the holistic approach of nutrition and Ayurveda. So if you haven't already, do check it out. It's available on Amazon and every major book retailer throughout the world. But I do specialize in helping those with digestive health, autoimmune conditions, diabetes, food allergies. But of course, I also work with clients who are interested in weight loss, prevention of disease, or just overall staying healthy. Now, what we're going to do today is we are going to cover Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda all about? I'm going to introduce you to the concept of the doshas and how these energies work. We are going to talk about, of course, Ayurveda and nutrition put together, digestive health, and your lifestyle as it pertains to a healthy transformation. So why do you want to transform your health? If you have a few moments, please pause the video, and I'd love for you to take a few moments and journal these questions. Now, if you don't have a few moments and you want to come back to it, that's fine. Take a screenshot of this and just take a screenshot of this slide, and I want you to reflect on why you want a healthy transformation. What is working for you? What is not working for you? What have you tried before, and how long have you been suffering? These are some key questions you need to answer before you can transform and improve your health. So everyone has to start somewhere, and the best place to start is by creating greater awareness of yourself. Because these are questions that even if I were to work one-on-one with you, I would ask you these questions in some way, shape, or form. These would come up during our first consultation, and it comes up in all my group coaching programs as well, is why do you want to make the changes? What is working for you? What is not working for you? What have you tried before? And how long have you been suffering? Now, in order for your health to improve and to meet your health goals, you have to actively seek change and make the time. So we all know that you need to take some form of action to actually reach your health goals. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not something that you can just think about it and boom, it happens. It's like my book title. You can't just think it. You have to actually choose it. You have to be willing to change, because if you're suffering in any way, then something's gotta change for you to improve your health. And we're going to talk about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be complex and doesn't have to be too difficult, but it is a step-by-step change that we want to make. But keep in mind though, quick fixes give you short-term results, whereas if you think long-term health, yes, it's a bit slower. Yes, it takes more time. Yes, it requires a bigger commitment from you, but you get long-term results. That is why my weight loss clients never put the weight back on, because they've made long-term healthy changes. There's a reason why my IBS clients, they don't go back to IBS. They continue to feel good years even after we're done working together, because they've learned and they've took the time to commit to their own health and well-being. So you have to think long term. Ayurveda is not about short term. Yes, there are short term benefits, but you have to think long term. But you also have to keep in mind when it comes to healthy transformation, is just because something worked for you in the past, it doesn't mean the same thing will work for you again. You are a different person. You've had different experiences in life than you did maybe the last time you tried to lose weight. Or you now in a new job, or before you didn't have kids, now you do have kids. Before you weren't caring for your elderly parents and now you are. Whatever the situation may be, just because something worked for you in the past doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you again. So you have to be open to new changes, new approaches, new ideas. But that's the wonderful thing about Ayurveda, is that there's so many possibilities of different angles and approaches that we can take, and it caters towards your individual needs. I love this quote. It's from one of the Ayurvedic texts called Bhagavad Samhita. And this quote states, health is a state of equilibrium of the doshas, whereby your agnis, so that's your digestive fire, are in equilibrium. Your dhatus, which is your tissues, are in proper state of integrity. Your elimination of waste is regular. Your atma, which is your soul or your sense of your higher self, your sense organs and your mind are clean and bright. And so Ayurveda is just not about the physical side. It's also about the mental, the emotional, the spiritual side as well. It does recognize that, health is different for everyone as well. And this is where the doshas are wonderful. So what is Ayurveda? What are the doshas that I keep talking about? Ayurveda, so Ayu means life, Veda means knowledge. And when you put that together, Ayurveda is a total science of health, or the total knowledge of life. And there's 5 elements in Ayurveda: space, air, fire, water, and earth. And those 5 elements come together to make up the 3 doshas of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Now, space and air come together to make up Vata dosha. Fire and water come together to make up the Pitta dosha, and water and earth come together to make up the Kapha dosha. So, what are these doshas and what do they do? The doshas are found everywhere in the environment, as you saw on the previous slide, but they're also found within your own body. And this is the basic foundational knowledge of how Ayurveda approaches health and well-being, and how Ayurveda can be customized to each individual needs. So when you put space and air together, you get the Vata dosha. And Vata is all about the movement, the communication, and transportation in the body. Now, movement includes, say, your circulatory portion, so your circulation in your body, your elimination portion of your digestive system, the communication between your nervous system, so your nerves communicating. All of that is Vata. Pitta is your entire digestive metabolism and transformation. So remember, it's fire with some water. So it's that inner heat that you get. So yes, it's your entire digestive system. It's how well you digest and metabolize your food. It's also your blood. It's also the light in your eyes. So sight and light equate to fire. So that's where Pitta is predominantly present. Now, Kapha, being of water and earth, it's more on the heavy, sticky, the thicker side. So Kapha is your entire structure, cohesion, lubrication. So it's your joints, your muscles, your tissues. All of that is Kapha. So I don't really like to generalize, but if I had to generalize, Vata people tend to be thin and slender. They have a lot going on mentally. They're always moving. They're always going about, they cannot sit still. that energy is just always there. They're just constantly on the go. They tend to overcommit to things because they think they can handle everything. So then they often end up being late. It doesn't necessarily make them unreliable, but you also have Vata people tend to be a lot up in their heads. So they have a lot of mental chatter going on. They have lots of thoughts, lots of ideas. They tend to be very creative as well. Now, Pitta people are on the medium build side, but they are very fiery and feisty people. I mean, Pitta people cannot go hungry. I mean, we all know people like that, right? Where when they're hungry, they need to be fed. That's Pitta people. They also tend to be very strongly opinionated. They're also very passionate. And they're the ones that will not only get things done, but they'll go above and beyond the call of duty just to make sure that they did the absolute best job they could. And they are like natural born leaders. When you need someone who's strong and just very capable, they're your people to go to. Now, Kapha people, yes, they're on the heavier side, but they're also very sweet, very stable. They're very dependable. They don't like to take on too many tasks because they like to be comfortable. They want to just merely get by and rest and relax, and they don't have as much self-motivation, although when you need them, they're there. So they are your best friends. You can count on them because if they commit, by golly, they will be there, but they won't take on more than they can handle. So if you haven't already, make sure you take my Ayurvedic dosha assessment. This quiz will help you identify whether you're more likely towards Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and what to do about it as well. So I said we are going to talk a bit about digestive health as well. And these are the signs that there's undigested food going on. These are your alarm signs, your warnings that you need to take or be more proactive about your health, and you need to change something because something's not working for you. So if you tend to struggle with poor bowel habits, so between constipation and diarrhea, your stools frequently smell excessively foul, if you feel better if you don't eat, and you get indigestion if you do eat, even if you eat the smallest amount of food, often you don't sleep well and you wake up feeling extremely tired or even more exhausted, and you feel cold for no reason. And then here are more signs of undigested food or alarm signs. And that is if you frequently feel tired or worn out or depressed for no reason. You need to loosen your belt or wear looser clothing after eating, even if you haven't overeaten. If you're frequently belching, passing gas, or you're getting bloated, your energy fluctuates throughout the day, you have very extreme food cravings, especially for sugary or salty foods, and if you have unexplained nutritional deficiencies, such as you're deficient in iron, but there's no actual reason, you eat red meat, all your other tests are coming back normal, you need to take a deeper look as to why is this happening. Now, those are warning signs, but you have to take control over your own health. So health begins with what you eat. So that includes your protein, your carbohydrates, your healthy fats. And remember, not all calories are equal. And I would love to get into this today, but there isn't enough time today. But it's something that you'll see me post about regularly on social media, and something that I'm very passionate about is that nutrients are way, way, way more important than calories. If it was that simple that all calories are equal, then that would mean that no one would ever have trouble with weight. There would be no health problems even if you did lose the weight on a calorie controlled diet. But calories are not equal. So if you take a can of Coke, and just because that has 200 something calories, and then you compare it to some food items, so say you have apples with nut butter and something else on top to make it 200 calories, you're obviously going to get more from the apple than you would from the can of Coke. So not all calories are equal. You need the nutrition in food, and your body needs the nutrients to absorb in, because if you get those nutrients through food, you will be so much better off than relying on supplements and try and take other drastic approaches when your body can nourish itself from inside out, as long as you support it by providing the right amount of fuel. Because a balanced, health promoting diet in Ayurveda is one that includes food that is fresh, in season, preferably naturally cultivated and full of vitality. So you do want to go for organic as much as possible. A balanced digestion and metabolism is one that is capable of processing all suitable food substances without wear and tear and aging. So if you eat really well, that is your best anti-aging remedy you can get. You can try all the creams and the topical ointments and all of that, but if you don't eat well, it will prematurely age you. Now, balanced and complete nourishment is a result of a perfect, healthy relationship between the food and the eater. And it is the ability of the body to maintain perfect health in all structures and functions. So let food be thy medicine. Let yourself turn to food to nourish you and uphold you and lift you up and vitalize you and give you that energy, that clarity you need to go about the rest of your day. So what is it supposed to feel like when food is actually nourishing you? When you've eaten food properly, what are you supposed to feel? And you should feel relief from hunger and thirst. There shouldn't be any undue pressure on your stomach. So that means no bloating whatsoever. You're comfortable feeling when there's a sense of comfort when you're standing, sitting, sleeping, walking, breathing, laughing, talking, etc. When you eat too much, you're like, oh, my stomach hurts, and you're like, oh, it hurts just to laugh, or, I can't, I just can't get comfortable. I need to stand, I need to walk it off, but I just feel so heavy. You shouldn't feel any of that. Now, you should have a good development of strength, a good complexion, a proper body weight, stable energy levels, and mental clarity, as well as proper nourishment of the senses. So food tastes good. Your other sensory organs are at their peak for, the age that you're at. Hearing naturally deteriorates as you get older, things like that. But your senses in overall should be working well. The food you eat in should be digested before your next meal. So it shouldn't be where, you had lunch, but by dinner you feel like, I'm still digesting lunch. There's no obstruction of the functioning of the heart. So there's no arteriosclerosis, so that's a buildup of plaque in the arteries. There's no excessive heaviness in the abdomen, no pressure in the sides of the chest. So sometimes you get that heaviness in your chest or that heartburn. None of that will be there if you're taking good care of your digestive system. So your digestion, your digestive health is so, so, so important. And this is one of the reasons why I specialize in digestive health, is because I strongly also believe this, and Ayurveda supports it like 500%, that you can have the best diet in the world, but if you do not have the digestion to support it, then it's not worth it. You can eat your salads, you can eat your green leafy vegetables, you can do everything right, but if you can't digest it, you are still not preventing disease then. So there's many types of different digestifiers, but we're only going to cover the main 4 today. And if you have a Vata type of digestion, or a Vata Agni, that's known as a Visham Agni. So a Vata Agni is very all over the place. A Pitta Agni is very strong. It's intense. You tend to digest food really quickly, and you'll find that and after you've eaten, about an hour later, you can eat again and then again and again. And you seem to always have an appetite. But that's not good either, because your body's not getting enough time to metabolize or absorb the nutrients, and it's just getting pushed straight through you. A Kapha Agni is one that's very heavy. It's slow, it's sluggish type digestion. It just, you can go hours and hours without eating before you even start to feel hungry. Now, a Sama Agni is a balanced Agni. This is the one where we're aiming for, in which you eat regularly, you digest your food well, you absorb your nutrients, you just feel good all the time. You have enough energy, you're just, mentally focused, you're quite balanced and stable. So what results in a Vata, Pitta, or Kapha type Agni? What causes an imbalanced digestive fire? I mean, this list isn't exhaustive by all means, but these are some of the common causative factors. And that includes overeating, eating at the wrong times of the day, consuming leftover food that hasn't been stored properly, inappropriate types of fasting. So going too long periods of time without eating, up to about 12 hours is good. Anything beyond that, 12, 14 hours tops. But beyond that, you don't want to go long periods of time without eating. And when you wake up, you want to eat within the hour of getting up to help light that digestive fire, to help give your metabolism that boost. But if you don't drink enough water, you smoke, you drink, you do drugs, all of that suppresses your digestive fire. And if you have too much stress, not enough sleep, of course, there's the emotional factors as well, but these are some of the causes of an imbalanced Agni. So how can you improve your Agni? How can you improve that digestive fire? So you should have food that is fresh, well cooked, but not overcooked. It's tasty, pleasing, and satisfying. It should be taken regularly at the proper time and proper amounts in a suitable environment. So it's best to avoid stressful situations when it comes to eating. Eat when you feel relaxed and comfortable. Now, for those that are predominantly Vata, you want to make sure you definitely eat regularly because Vata loves routine, it loves structure. So eat at regular times throughout the day. Food should be at least room temperature or warmer. And you want to favor what are known as the sweet, sour, and salty tastes. Now, there are 6 tastes in Ayurveda: sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. These 6 tastes either promote a balance of a dosha or create more imbalance in a dosha. And as much as I'd love to get into all that today, I'm not going to because it's quite a complex subject. And what I've found from my years of experience is that when I teach about sweet, sour, salty, or pungent, bitter, astringent tastes, people often tend to get overwhelmed or they get stressed about eating according to only the taste. Whereas the tastes, you should have all 6 tastes at all meals. And yes, I have a blog post about that, so you can read about it more online if you want. But I don't want you to obsess over the taste. What I want you to do is focus more on the quality of the food. The overall routine behind food, your habits behind food, rather than getting too worked up about the taste. The taste is something that I do cover in my courses because I have more time to teach about it, to educate about it, make sure you get a proper understanding so it's not as overwhelming. Now, Pitta dosha, you should more often than not, you should favor foods that are not spicy. Please avoid the spice, the sharp taste, anything that's too hot. You're okay with slightly cooler or lukewarm foods and drinks, but you want the sweet, the bitter, and astringent tastes. But definitely stay away from spicy, hot foods. Kapha people, you may not want to snack as much, which is okay. You can stick to about the 3 meals a day, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But you want to have a lighter diet. You want more dry but warming foods and drinks. And you want to favor more the different tastes and flavors. So stay away from the sweet, sour, salty taste because it will weigh you down more. So you want to have more of the pungent, bitter, and astringent tastes. But like I said, don't get too caught up on the different tastes. Go for variety, go for flavor, but follow the first bit of advice. So Kapha people need lighter food, easier to digest food. Pitta people can handle a raw diet maybe a little bit better. Vata people they need that regularity, that structure. Make sure you eat at a regular time and consistent. But when in doubt, favor warm, cooked, wholesome foods. And remember, as we go through this, how one eats is just as important as what one eats. So it's not just about what you eat, it's about everything else that goes into your diet as well, and that includes your experiences. So this brings me to the general principles for a diet, or the general dietetics according to Ayurveda. And these are habits that you can establish. You can start these right away. So screenshot these if you like and pick one or two from what I'm about to share, just so it helps you establish more healthier eating patterns. Now, you do want to eat in a settled and quiet atmosphere with a settled mind. So you want to focus on what you're eating, not be distracted by everything else that's going around. You don't want to watch TV while you're eating. You just want to focus on your meal that you're eating, just so it also helps aid digestion. Don't eat too quickly or too slowly, and you want to eat about 3/4 of your capacity. So your stomach is the size of your two palms put together. So if you put your two palms together and just take a look, you'll see that that's how big your stomach is. And you want to only eat 3/4 of your capacity. And if you truly engage in mindful eating, and again, mindful eating is something that I teach in my courses, is that you will feel full, but not stuffed. You'll feel satisfied and good, but again, not stuffed or heavy. You want to avoid eating before the previous meal has digested. And your diet should include all 6 tastes in your daily food intake, but you favor the taste for your dosha. And this is why it gets more complex. It sounds easy, but believe me, when I get into it, I have more questions about the 6 tastes, what to eat, what not to eat. And that's why it's something that I only cover in the courses or with one-on-one clients. And I stopped covering it with my masterclasses. Now, lunch should be the main meal of the day. You should avoid yogurt and cheese at night because it can create more congestion and add to that heaviness in the body. Avoid ice cold beverages and foods because they dampen the digestive fire. And of course, chew well because the digestive process begins in the mouth. And I just want to introduce this concept to you. We're not going to go into too much detail about it, but Ayurveda encourages a balance of rest and activity. And this is what the dosha clock looks like. So between 2 and 6 is a Vata time of the day. 6 and 10 is a Kapha time of the day. And 10 and 2 is Pitta time of the day. So if you remember, I said that lunch should be your main meal of the day. That is, the reason being is because Pitta is strongest between 10 and 2, both daytime and nighttime. But daytime, because it's so strong, it means that you can digest a little bit better, a little bit more easily than you could the rest of the time that you eat during the day. So that's why your strongest meal or your largest meal should be at around midday. Now, Vata energy, so waking up, you ideally want to wake up before 6 because you carry that energy of Vata with you. Whereas we've all noticed the later you wake up in the day, the heavier or more lethargic you tend to feel. So you want to try and wake up before 6 if you can to carry that energy with you. Now you also want to try and go to bed before 10 o'clock at night because again, we've all experienced that second wind of energy where you're feeling really tired around 9:30. You're like, oh, I should just go to bed, but I just want to watch some more TV. And so you stay up late and then all of a sudden you have that more energy. You're like, oh, I could keep going for another couple hours and I can, watch a couple more shows. But you want to avoid that because 10 and 2 at night is also when your body does its healing work. So you really want to try and get that rest. Now, this is probably one of the reasons why I love Ayurveda so much, because the principles of Ayurveda can be used in conjunction with any wellness plan, and I mean any. You can balance the doshas through diet and routine, and you can create balanced health. So we dive much more deeper into this into my some of my online courses and a lot of my group coaching programs as well, is that when you balance the doshas through diet and routine, because each dosha has a different routine, has a different dietary approach, a different lifestyle approach. And if you can understand how the doshas work for you and what your own balanced state is, it helps you make those choices so you feel better within yourself. I love this quote by Ayurveda, and I feel like it sums up everything so well, that the cause of imbalanced health is overuse, underuse, and misuse of time, senses, and action. So I'm going to say that again. Overuse, underuse, and misuse of time, senses, and action is what causes disease. It's like I said, it's the choices that you make that cause your health to either be balanced or imbalanced. So based upon that, what changes are you willing to make? Maybe it's a matter of not binge watching the latest TV show before bed. So, because if you're staying up late just to watch the next episode of something that you've already watched 3 episodes of, not only are you overusing and misusing your time, your senses, and your action, but you're underusing your sleep time. So, of course, that's going to make you more tired, more lethargic. You may find that you drink more coffee the next day, and then that just sends a knock-on effect because you've had too much coffee and now you can't go to bed again. So you have to think in terms of how are your choices influencing how you are feeling, and what is it worth to you to feel in your best shape. So what changes are you willing to make? Now, the thing with Ayurveda nutrition is that when you start implementing all of these recommendations, some people who even don't want to necessarily lose weight as their main goal, they end up naturally losing weight. Or those who want to put on weight, naturally put on weight. Or if you want to maintain, you actually maintain a lot more easily while feeling more fresh and more alert. So how do you find balance? A healthy transformation requires you to actively seek change. It's not enough to think healthy, you have to choose healthy as well. So take your health into your own hands. This is all that I have for you today. Make sure you join my Healthy Living with Varsha Facebook group. So if you have any questions about this masterclass, please go ahead and post in the group and I'll be happy to answer them. Likewise, take the dosha quiz, so which is, if likelihood is that you took the dosha quiz that brought you to this video, but if by chance you found the video first, then the link is still here with the video about how to go back to take the dosha quiz. And any questions is posted in my Facebook group. I am in there to answer your questions, to help you live a healthier life, make those healthier choices. So with that said, that's all I have for you today. And I look forward to working with you and helping you and inspiring you and motivating you to live the healthiest version of yourself. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.